A massive clear out is looming at Man United, and Marcus Rashford is believed to be the first victim. Welcome to the United Hotspot. My name is Webb. Here is an update on Manchester United. Guys, Ineos is working after finally getting their man in Jason Wilcox. There is hope that Omar Berrada, the latest that has come through, is that Omar Berrada will be starting work mid-July. That is in the summer. So obviously, that's already quorum for Manchester United and Ineos to start the work they believe they want to do to steer Manchester United's ship afloat. Now, the latest coming through from ESPN, a credible source, they are saying that Ineos is set and determined to offload a dozen of players, 12 players. Now, you might wonder, how on earth does a club go into a summer transfer window and just let go of 12 players? Well, obviously, it may not be losing all the 12 at once, but you first agree that these players are leaving, then you start rolling out the exit one after the other. Some will leave for free because their contracts will not be extended. Others will have their contracts terminated. Some will be sold. So this is where Marcus Rashford comes in, according to the report that we get. And probably this is what we've all been talking about. This is what we've known, that Ineos might have made up their mind on Marcus Rashford. Now, what we know now is that Rashford will be sold. He's one of the first players that Ineos are saying we are going to put on the market and hope to get as much pounds as we can from him if we are going to go into the market and buy other players who can come in and refresh this squad of ours. So it's a serious speculation. Now, Man United, the admin of Man United's X account, has been quick to react and respond to this, should I say, hate speech against Marcus Rashford. They are calling him Trashford, and it's trending on Twitter. You don't like to see it, really, because for a player who has contributed so well for Man United, and the admin is reminding fans of Manchester United that this boy has scored 215 goals, and that's exactly what he went on to post. He posted a number 215 just to show people that the player you're saying you should leave Manchester United has scored 215 goals for the club. So what exactly are you talking about? So, well, it's a good thing. It's a good thing, to be honest, for him to be posting that. But I think he's failing to pick what the fans are saying. He's failing, I think, to understand where the fans are coming from. The reality is, fans are not really unaware or blind to the fact that this player has been a good player for Manchester United. If anything, I don't think so many Man United fans, if things had turned out different for Marcus Rashford, if he had the right character, I don't think many United supporter would wish him to leave. I think they're calling for him to leave because obviously he has failed to show that he still wants to play for Man United. A few years ago, when we were having our banter with Arsenal supporters, with Man City supporters, we had Marcus Rashford to compare with Phil Foden of Man City, to compare with Bukayo Saka of Arsenal. But think about the Bukayo Saka you saw making Kukurea dance like a salsa dancer, performing. You think about Phil Foden and what he has done, probably the best player in the Premier League this season, and then look at Marcus Rashford and where he is. So you think about it and you're thinking, this boy, and he's earning a lot more than them, by the way. And he was ahead of them. So you look at it and say, maybe it's done. And you see, probably he's not a bad player, but when your time is done in a place, it's always good for you to move on and restart and find life and be happy elsewhere. Because it's not a given that because Marcus Rashford has scored 215 goals for Manchester United, we can't lose him. We can't let go of him. Well, the manner in which he goes might not look good. It may not be how we would have wanted to him, but that's the story of Man United. The way Cristiano Ronaldo left, it's not how we would have wanted him to leave. The way Upstam left, it's not how we would have wanted him to leave. The way David De Gea left. So, and I'm talking of guys who should be perhaps bigger legends than Marcus Rashford. I think for me, yes, I don't like the trashing and all. They're calling him Trashford now and all. But his facial expressions, his body language has shown that he does not feel proud to wear the badge of Man United. He does not want to fight for the team no more. And this is the time when we needed him to show the spirit more. That's why before, months ago, people were calling for the head of Harry Maguire. But Maguire now will have people die for him because he's showing the heart for the club. Even when he had his bad spells, people are saying Maguire should stay. So fans are not really sentimental, but they look at you, they see they're not blind. So Marcus Rashford believed to be topping the list of those who will leave. Casemiro is on the list, according to, of course, what we are getting in now. Then the same list has got Anthony Dos Santos, obviously, he's on the list. There's Victor Lindelof, who is among, probably people say, is one of the players that was Jose Mourinho felt shouldn't have been at the club years ago when he was there, but he's still here. Then there is talk of Varane, of course. There's Christian Eriksen. There is Wan Bissaka on that list. Now, Wan Bissaka can divide attention. There are people who feel Wan Bissaka should stay. I felt at some point Wan Bissaka should stay. I still think Wan Bissaka can stay a little bit, maybe to finish his contract that runs out, I think, at the end of next season, because I think we triggered his 1 year contract extension. We can monitor him and see. But I think he has proven that he can be a utility player, can play left, can play on the right. He's a good snatch of the ball. He has his positives, but since he came back from that injury that he had, that saw him off for quite a while, he has honestly never been the same. And you don't expect him to be at the same levels like he was. So, in all fairness, I would stand Wan Bissaka for one more season. He may not be your marquee player, your starter, because you need a natural left back. He can be a backup for the left back and a backup for Dalot on the right. The other player that is believed to be, of course, Anthony Martial. That's a given. He will be leaving. I think that was done and dusted. He might never put on the Man United jersey again. Then the other player that we are looking at releasing, I saw the 12 list. There are about 12 players. I think Facundo Pellistri as well, who is on loan, I think could be released. I think Scott was on the list as well. So there are quite a number of players that Ineos are looking at letting go of. But like I said, each player has a different situation. Marcus Rashford should be sold. If you ask me, I think we can get about 80 million pounds at least for Marcus Rashford in this market. 80 million quid. That would be a lot of money to boost our transfer. That is, I think, for me, that would be a brilliant deal. But it's not only the players who are getting affected. What we gather now is that even Erik Ten Hag has got some issues to worry about himself, because what we get is that Ten Hag will face a 25% pay cut on his £9 million wages if United don't make it to the Champions League. That is in his contract. If we don't qualify for the Champions League, he's going to face a pay cut. Now, remember, I told you before that Ineos were planning to, first of all, introduce a salary cap, but also try to come up with a payment model where players are paid based on their performances and the achievements of the club. I thought this would be good. I think it would make sense that players would then be driven to play, not playing with assurance that they already earned their money. I think if it's allowed in football, and of course there are rules that regulate players and how they earn. But if it is allowed, for me, I think it would be a good model, even for other clubs to adopt. More so at this point in time when there is too much money flowing into football, you want players who come and just earn the money and won't play. So you want to structure it in a way that players are paid based on their performances and based on the performance of the team. I think it would make sense. It would give a semblance of fairness, and it would give a better drive to some of these players who are not naturally motivated by the fact that they are playing at the topmost level. So I think for me, that would be fair enough to see. But Erik Ten Hag is facing it, so the players too are facing it. That if in the event that he stayed, he will face a 25% pay cut. That would mean from 9 million quid, he could be getting 25% of 9 is what? Maybe he'll be earning about maybe 6 point something million quid. Those would be his wages. So that is what we get coming through from Manchester United. So we'll wait and see. But before we get into who is going to replace who is going to come in, I think it's very important for us to first know which players we are offloading and which of these players, because you can see the plan is to offload about a dozen of them, but you realize that we could pick a penny from maybe 4, a reasonable money from 3 or 4. There is also Donny van de Beek. He's one of those we are offloading. Remember, his German team refused to trigger his buyout clause. He did not perform really at all that side. So you look at all the players, most of the players we have, and you're thinking it's actually Marcus Rashford, the only one top player we can sell and get reasonable money. And if it continues going bad like this, like it is going for him, the money will even be less. It will even be less. So in terms of business wise, we are losing. So we need him performing at his best level, so that when we go into the market, we're talking about a player on form, a player who is performing and can warrant a reasonable figure for Man United, because we do need money, more so now that we are not, probably most likely, even if we are 6th after the win over Sheffield, it's highly likely that United won't be in the Champions League places. So tight situation, and this is where exactly we need Omar Berada, the CEO, to come in and do the math, work together with Jason Wilcox. By any time, maybe after a year, whenever Dan Ashworth comes in, I think Wilcox and Omar Berada, who will be working together in this transfer period, able enough to come out and get things done, to figure out solutions and try to get Manchester United on track in the transfer window, because the business has got to be done and the talks and planning have got to start like yesterday. So that's where we are. Not so much time, just like not so much time for me here. My name is Webb. This is the United Hotspot. That's a quick update. I'll be back later.